Today, I'm taking it upon myself to rank my favorite artists' debut albums. These aren't all my favorite artists, but a lot of them. There's mostly pop, rock, and alternative albums in here, but there's a sprinkle of some other genres. Keep in mind that I'm ranking these with the context that they were a debut album, and also with the context of how much I just personally like them. It's not that objective. So you may think my opinions are crazy, and that's okay. I'm definitely biased as these are my favorite artists, but let's be real, I don't like bad artists. I'm also not going to go too deep into my reviews on these albums in this video. It's more so just my general thoughts, just so I can keep this video at a decent length and I can leave room to talk about these albums again in the future, maybe make a whole video on some of them. With that being said, I won't waste too much of your time, so let's just start with the first debut album on the list.
I wish that I could wake up with amnesia.
5 Seconds of Summer's debut album is absolutely phenomenal. I know this might sound a little crazy because it's obviously something that's been done before, it's commercial, and it could be considered stuck in its time, but this album is so hype for me. I really only skipped 2 songs on it, the rest are complete bangers. If I want to have fun and be in a good mood, I'll put this on. I really wore this album out in college, like 7 years after it came out. Even though there are skips on it, there are incredibly high iconic songs like Heartbreak Girl, Long Way Home, Amnesia, and the best song across 5 Seconds of Summer's discography, Voodoo Doll. I actually was really late on their music until I specifically became obsessed with Voodoo Doll, which got me to listen to the whole album. But anyhow, I just pretend like the 2 songs I skipped don't exist, so I'm gonna put this in S tier.
On the la, corner of 4th and Fremont Street.
When I was a kid, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out was definitely not my favorite Panic! At the Disco album. It was probably the one I liked the least, but it's grown on me. I used to think it was very chaotic and just not my vibe, but now I find more complex lyricism and unconventional melodies tend to have longer staying power in my playlists. That's what I love about older Panic music now. And also, it's the same for Pierce the Veil's music. Even though I really latched on to Pierce the Veil and have always loved them, Fever is still a fun album 20 years later. Although I'm not sure how to feel about the TikTokification of this album. I'm glad people are listening to Fever, but some of the songs are a little overplayed on that app. Anyhow, that doesn't really affect the placement, I just wanted to say that. My placement for Fever is also an S tier debut album. Okay, let's get into pop a little bit. We have Ariana Grande's Yours Truly. I like Yours Truly, but it's not my favorite Ariana album. I think it's kind of same throughout the album, with the main goal just being to show off Ariana's insanely good vocals. I can't deny she sang amazingly on this album, but compared to some of the other albums on this list, it doesn't have as interesting songwriting. Even compared to all her other albums, this is worse to me. There are a lot of songs I don't listen to on Yours Truly. The ones I still do listen to frequently are really just The Way and Honeymoon Avenue. Anyhow, this is just not one of my favorites off the list, but I'll give credit for the vocals and put it at the C tier. I'm ranking albums, not EPs, so Poppy.Computer is going on the list instead of Bubble Bath. Now, well, yes. This album is so individualistic that it couldn't be made by anyone else except for Poppy in 2017. I don't even think the Poppy today could make this, but who knows. So I do appreciate that, but it feels a little bit like a Poppy YouTube channel soundtrack. I actually consider it the soundtrack to her YouTube channel. I actually have a whole video on that here, so check that out if you're interested. Some songs are alright to still listen to today, like Bleach Blonde Baby and Computer Boy, but I would never choose to listen to this over any other Poppy album, even Bubble Bath, so I have to put it at the D tier. It's just a very specific type of album that doesn't really interest me today.
Just dance, it's gonna be okay. Just dance.
I mean, it's the Fame. Do I even really have to say anything? It's another phenomenal album. Every single song on this project slaps. Massive hits came out of this album, and it's within Lady Gaga's top 3 albums for me. Honestly, I can't really pick 3 standouts from this because every single song, in my opinion, is great. When it comes to the Fame, I feel like it kind of was with and ahead of its time at the same time, which must mean it's timeless. I'll stop glazing it because I really just have positive things to say right now, so I'll put it at the S tier. I really like Taylor Swift's debut album. I'm not a huge country fan, but this is the type of country music I enjoy. There's some really strong tracks on this, like Picture to Burn, Should Have Said No, and Our Song, but there are a few songs I don't listen to nowadays, like Tim McGraw, Mary's Song, or Invisible. I don't think it's within the best half of Taylor's discography, so I can't put it at like A or S tier, but I think it's decent enough to be at B tier. She definitely has albums that are much better, but debut is still really impressive, especially considering how young Taylor Swift was at the time. This is just pretty crazy in a good way. This is my favorite album from Oliver Tree for sure. However, it has that thing where it's hard to remember the titles for a lot of the songs because they sound similar. Even though they do sound very similar, it's still a good album. What does taint it a bit for me is the deluxe songs are very questionable. I mean, compare this.
Tell me what you want, was it enough for you? Fucking up your life, was it enough for you? No way.
To this song from the deluxe version.
I am out of ordinary.
I know that was only a clip, but just from what you can hear, you get the vibe. I get this album might not be everyone's taste, but I like that it's individualistic, quirky, and memorable. Some of my favorite tracks are Me, Myself, and I, Her, Alien Boy, and I'm Gone. I do think the S tier albums are better than this, but I still like this album a lot, so I'll put it at the A tier. For someone that's been listening to Marina for over a decade, this album has aged the best for me. Despite being her oldest, it feels the freshest out of her first 3 albums. I feel like I kinda outgrew some of Marina's projects like Electra Heart and Love and Fear. Despite liking those albums, they just aren't really what I ever listen to anymore, despite like maybe a few songs. Literally every song on the Family Jewels appears on my playlist today. I love all the tracks, but if I had to pick a top 3, it'd probably be definitely Mowgli's Road, Obsessions, and the opening track, Are You Satisfied? It's quirky in all the right ways, and similarly to The Fame, I'd consider it timeless, so it's going into high S tier. I have some nostalgic feelings for A Flair for the Dramatic, but it's probably my second least favorite Pierce the Veil album, and I'll admit it's probably my second, not least favorite, just due to the nostalgia. I really like songs like Chemical Kids and Mechanical Brides, and also Yeah Boy and Dollface. Those are some of my favorite Pierce the Veil songs. I think their peak albums were definitely Collide with the Sky and Misadventures. Those albums, and even Selfish Machines, honestly, strongly shine out this album for me. I think the instrumentation is a little bit more chaotic and muddy compared to everything else from Pierce the Veil, and also some of the songwriting is a little off-putting, but that's okay. I'm putting it at the C tier of this year list. It's a strong debut, but I just think they've really outdone this. It's not really what I'd suggest to someone if they wanted to listen to Pierce the Veil. I'd say this is more like, if you've listened to everything else, okay, now you can go listen to this, just for like a little bit of extra, because it doesn't really compare in my opinion.
It's a party. You know I love you so, and now you save my soul.
Remember, we're talking about debut albums, not EPs, so for Bad Flower, I'm ranking OK I'm Sick instead of Temper. I have a whole video that you can check out if you're interested in hearing my thoughts in depth on OK I'm Sick, but what I will say here is that this is an album I tap into at least one song from every day of my life for nearly the last 5 years. It's so unique, hard-hitting, and the lyricism is unlike anything I've heard in modern rock. Seriously, I've said it before on my channel, but I'll say it again, Josh Catt's writing is unmatched to any modern artist, in my opinion, despite not getting as much credit as he deserves. Also, the instrumentation is so lively on this album, front to back, just bangers. This is just me glazing again, but anyways, if you know me, you know this album is S tier. I just have to include it on this list since they're my favorite band. Around COVID time when this came out, I was bumping Sawayama all the time. I do go back to it less now, but I still really like it. Some songs have really stuck with me, such as STFU, Bad Friends, Paradise-in, and especially Who's Gonna Save You Now, while some of the other songs I don't really listen to much anymore. But even though they're more my past, it's still nice to hear them once in a while when I'm on shuffle as a little treat. I wouldn't say any of these songs are bad at all or really stuck in their time, I just don't listen to them much anymore. There's definitely some midpoints on this album for me, but the strongest tracks are really strong. I think it's clear that Rina had a really strong vision for this album when it came to soundscapes and themes, and also we got one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances out of this album, so I'm putting it at an A tier. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess is one of the best debuts to come out in so long when it comes to pop music. It's just banger after banger. A lot of hits came from this album, such as Hot to Go. It's a phenomenal piece of work. I think it'll be just as iconic as Lady Gaga's The Fame is today. Unless you have a stick up your ass and hate pop music to seem deep, I think literally everybody can find at least one song from this album that they'd like. The vocals are top tier on this, the melodies are extremely interesting, the writing is good, songs are deep but also catchy. Chappell shows how much of an incredible artist she is on this album, and I don't see anywhere for it to go besides the S tier. So yeah, that's my list. I know I have a lot in the S tier, but anyhow, that's about it for today. Let me know in the comments what your favorite album on this list is, and make sure to subscribe for weekly music content and daily music news shorts. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.